They've been calling for it. They've been asking for it. And it is here. The Betfred Super League. Show Me the Money. Fantasy League. Jim, this is going to be a weekly segment with ours. We've got the Fantasy League, the ins and outs. First off, I'll just say, obviously, we've seen all your messages. I've been buzzing. Jim's been buzzing. I think Dad's trying to still figure out how to how it works, how to set it up. But I'll help him out. And we've set up a Show Me the Money League. The mini league details will be posted underneath by Sam. Join us. It is at fantasy.superleague.co.uk. Come and join the boys, and let's have a brilliant fantasy league. And we'll be on it every week talking about our transfers, how our team's done, and how it is. But Jim, give me where you're at with this fantasy team this year.
It's the first time I've ever done it. So
is it?
Yeah, I've never done it before, so I'm looking forward to it. I've had a... So for those who are maybe in a similar situation to me, it's not rocket science. You basically create a team, you get a budget, there's certain restrictions. You can only have a certain number of players from each team. You have to pick players, obviously, in their positions. You can't go over your budget. You've got to have a bench, and then You've got to manage your team throughout the year and make changes, haven't you, depending on fixtures and who you think might be doing what. So it's one of those that the more time you put in, probably the better points you'll get. But yeah, feel free to join, give it a go. What we're going to do is we will give everyone a week or two to enter a team, and then once we've got a certain, number, we don't want anyone joining the last week of the season and coming in and winning it. We want people to be involved, and we can have a bit of crack on the show, and we can say who's doing well and who's had good weeks. And we will have at least a prize for the winner. We're going to do, for the winners, a signed shirt of your choice. You can choose the club within reason. Don't go Penrith Panthers or something like that.
I think we'll be able to sort of,
But in terms of the UK, Super League Championship, League One, you pick a shirt. We'll get it signed by as many players as we can, if not all of them. We'll put that up as a prize for the winning team with the most points. We're going to have some of our players are into it. Some of our players will be doing teams, so there'll be a bit of crack on there. You can see how you're faring, and you've done it a couple of times before, Joe, haven't you? Quite easy to manage it throughout the year?
It is, to be honest. It's quite a simple template. There's loads of different ways to score points. I know David Fafita won it I think he won it 2 years in a row,
in terms of who the player that got the most points,
so you're looking for meters, you're looking for tackle, everything.
Offloads.
Someone who does a bit of everything, gets a few tries. As much as possible. I've not done it for the last 2 or 3 years, to be honest with you. I used to do it with my friends all the time. But no, it's exciting. We'll get it on. I want to see all the fans on there joining us, and we can, we'll have a good year and a good crack.
And judging by having a little look so far for myself, loose forwards are big money, aren't they? Because I think clearly you're going to get an idea of the price of a player's. How much they're worth due to how many points they got last year. Offloads are big, aren't they? A winger scoring loads of tries necessarily isn't a recipe for success, is it? It's quite a lot is factored in, and someone like Cameron Smith at Leeds Rhinos is as expensive as anybody, isn't it? So
so I think from that I've tried to do our own philosophy of Moneyball and implement it into my team. I think I was quite shocked at how little the money goes. It doesn't go very far, does it? It doesn't go as far as
you've got to manage it well.
I did my first pick without looking at the money. So you get, like Jimmy said, you get money at the top, but then as you're picking your team, it's quite easy if you're doing it on your phone, especially, to scroll up and not see how much money you've actually spent. It quickly caught up to me, so it took me a while to do, to be honest. I picked my dream team, boom, got a right team, realised I were miles over, so then I've slowly picked and choose and tried to do Moneyball. So I've gone value for money, because there's some players who I thought I'd love in my team, but was priced at 170k compared to a 120k player, and I'm like, well, I think he's only going to do a little bit worse this year. So we'll get going, Jim. We can literally do it by position, then we'll go through our inset. Who have you chose as your Super League Fantasy fullback.
Oh, we can't give our team away to the others, can we? Are we going to give it?
I'm giving my team.
Away?
Yeah, I'm giving my team. Yeah.
God, we're playing for a signed shirt here. I don't want to be giving tips away.
That's the we don't. Have to...
Yeah, put it this way: you can change it up until the day. Is it Thursday lunchtime before the first fixture?
Yeah, before the first fixture. Well, I'll just give actually. Then we can do
a couple of we'll go good value.
Good value for money. I like that. Yeah, we'll change it. Good value for money. We'll do 3 then out of your team. My number 1 good value for money is second rower. ShowMeTheMoney is at 120k, which I thought was outstanding price. I think he will be playing a lot this season. He had some terrific performance last year. He got a few bans, picked up a couple of knocks, which meant he didn't play as much probably, and that might explain his price. But I think he'll be at it this year, going from the World Club Challenge. I met ShowMe actually at a golf day. What a good lad. He's not a lad that's got a bad...
What golf day was that and why wasn't I there?
You were invited to it, Jim.
Was it Milner's?
No, which one was it? I'll ask Dad, but you were definitely invited because you're our number 1 golfer on our team, Jim. Yeah. So I think it's... but I can't remember what day it was, but yeah, we'll speak about that after, Jim. So. But yeah, just met him at the golf day. He was brilliant and really nice lad. And I think 120k is an outstanding value for someone who I think will be playing week in, week out. He will be having a great season at Saints. I think he showed us glimpses of tremendous potential last year, the year before. Well, not even potential, sorry, of tremendous talent. And I think he's going to come again and going to improve on that disciplinary record and injury record that probably let him down a bit last year. So 120k compared to some of us, fantastic price. Nice. Jim? Your number 1 money
just
baller?
One little thing, because I'd only done fantasy football before this. I believe the values of the players don't change, do they, as the season goes on? So like in the football one, a player's value can go up, whereas
up or down.
They stay the same, don't they?
Do they?
Yes, that's what I've been told. So
I didn't know, I've not done nothing.
So I think if you get someone now at a low price, you're laughing because they're not going to impact your salary cap as the year goes on.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start with a winger, and we've said that it doesn't seem necessarily tries are the be all and end all, but I've got Tom Johnston in there. Obviously, Catalan Dragons' new signing is finally left Wakey. He's 115 grand, and pure and simple, it'll be down to his injury record, because he's had a good few years now without clocking up big games, but if he does stay on the field playing at Catalans, and we're uncertain as to how Catalans will go this year, but I still think they'll be making a play for the playoffs. I still think they're a top 6, top 7 team, and they could be obviously even better than that. So Tom Johnson, 115k. We know he's arguably on his day the best winger in the league. So there could be a bit of value there if he hits the floor running and starts banging a load of tries in. They've got Wakey first game up against his old club.
Yeah, could be a great start.
You wouldn't rule him out getting a couple there, would you? So I'm going to go with him as my first Moneyball pick.
Like it. My second Moneyball pick, he's on my bench actually. I'm going to do a bench player, but I think he's tremendous value for... in these first couple of weeks, if what we've seen in pre-season, I don't want to go too deep into it, but Corey Johnson. Corey Johnson is valued at 80k.
Right.
For a bench player when you're needing that cheap. Players like George Lane at 70k. George might only get 2. Corey will play a lot this season, I believe. I think Leeds are needing of someone like Corey. You've got Jared the workhorse. You've got Cruz who offers a bit more ball playing, but with maybe the half issue, maybe Cruz move. I think Corey at 80k will be a tremendous price. He might even force his way in to be the starting hooker. That's, I think, the potential we see him for this season.
And he's even been doing a bit at half as well.
Doing a bit at half.
He could be a real...
So if he's going to be fit by the start of the season. So if he kicks on like we think he will, you've got a tremendous horrendous player at 80k. I'm kind of hoping you're wrong about the price changing, to be honest, because he could end up being up in the 110k, and for 80k to start off your season, get yourself a money ball and get yourself a pretty safe bench spot at a good price, who, if you need to, with injuries, you can go to and slot in.
Well, I hope I am wrong about the prices, and I'm an absolute beginner. You've done it once before, have you?
Twice, but when I was in high school.
Right, so a while ago. So anyone who knows what they're doing more than us, please let us know. I'm absolutely beginner. If the players' prices do go up as the season goes on, let us know, because that's, in which case someone like this could be a right buy now when you're only allowed to make a certain number of changes. I'd like to think we should do. It'd be a much better game if we did. So that's an interesting pick. I've gone from a slightly different approach to you, Joe. All my bench are 50k.
You've gone cheap bench.
Tell a lie, all but one. So I'm going to have my next money baller is the only one. I tried to put all my money into the starting team and hoping if there is any injuries, I've gone for
the whole KR approach, the squad depth approach.
Well, it's not a bad approach, I'm sure. But someone who's 110k is someone who I'm viewing as practically been a new signing for the Leeds Rhinos this year, and that's Tom Holroyd. He's been impressive in the pre-season. Probably Leeds is arguably their standout player in pre-season for myself. I think he'll get a lot of game time this year. I'm still yet to learn how important it is. I imagine you need to find big minute props to get points. That's why Mikulecki's big money, because he plays a lot of minutes. Holroyd is probably more of an impact player, so it might be that as I learn more, he might not be the perfect fantasy player as much as I think he'll be a big player for Leeds Rhinos in the Super League. So, but he certainly seems good value at 110.
And then I'm not. And then my third pick, I can't say it's a money baller because he's very expensive, but I think for what he'll offer throughout the season and for what we've seen, is my tip of Man of Steel.
The Snake,
Jake Connor, 135k.
3-5.
And he's at fullback.
Is that right? Yeah,
he's at fullback, so I like that I can still get my two halves in. To be honest, I've actually gone to Ilahir as my half, so I've gone my Huddersfield half fullback, even though I've heard some reports are that it will be the other way round in the incoming season. So that'd be an interesting one. So I wanted them both in. I think they're both okay value for money. 135k. Jake's gonna play every week in, week out, and be a focal point of the offense. Whether it comes off or not, I'm predicting they will. I could be miles off, but if they do as well as I think he will, I think Jake Connor at 135k, when you've got players like Tui Lahey himself, 155, you've got someone like Jez Litton, who might be only play a half or be at 150k. You've got someone there who's going to play 80 minutes week in, week out, and I think be a focal point of an offence. And at fullback, I think that's all I can ask for.
Well, interestingly, I've got my Man of Steel tip at fullback, and that's Matt Duffy. It's the same price. He's 135k as well. And someone did rightly pick me up on questioning Duffy's defensive qualities. He's not the biggest fullback. He's certainly in the team to attack. I'm not saying I think he's the best player in Super League. I still think that's Johnny Lomax for the last 5 years. But in terms of how Man of Steel points are given out and what their specialist panel look for, that's why he's my tip. He's a slightly bigger price than some of the favourites, and I think he could have if Warrington have a good year, which I'm expecting and hoping for their sake, he could be a big part of that. Catch a few high bombs, score a load of tries, and the next thing you're getting loads of Man of Steel points. So I've put him in as my fullback for that. Just basically backing my earlier call, which I could die on my own sword for, but I do think he'll be banging some tries in for Warrington this year.
Yeah, well, if he, like I said, if he goes as well as you're predicting in the attack, yeah, could be a brilliant pick. 135. You've got other said. I've got players in my team. I don't mind revealing a bit of mine. I'm gonna go for
I'll
it.
do the same. We can change it.
My bench. I'll start with my bench. I've got Muiz Mustafa, 90k. I think if he a couple of injuries in that prop. I think at Cass 90k, good, great value for money. My bench, I've gone players who I think could play.
Yeah, just for cover. So
play all the time. Yeah.
Always got 13 men, haven't you?
Second bench, Morgan Smith, 105k. I think for a player who could end up being a starting hooker / half and playing nearly every game, 105k. I don't think you're getting better value for money. You probably didn't argue with me in the chat, but I think value for money, 105k is outstanding. Again, I've said the Corey Johnson one at 80, even better value for money. If Corey's going to become the player this season that reports are, he's coming, 80k. And then my third one is a fun one. I couldn't find a 50k player. I've obviously clicked on it wrong. I've
got a couple, yeah.
Yeah, I need to go. Well, again, I've gone someone who obviously we rate very highly at Show Me Towers, George Delaney. He's at 70k.
Yeah, I've got him as well.
70k, brilliant. I think, like you said, if Walmsley maybe gets injured, or I don't want to think getting, but if one of the props at Saints were playing low minutes, playing this game against Penrith, that's going to be battering. I think George is ready to take a step up, and at 70k, I'm not too stressed if he doesn't either.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, well, I think I was just going to say on the Corey Johnson one, I was sat with him yesterday, and he'd literally been passed that morning, so he's fit to play now.
Yeah.
So he'll probably be a couple of weeks at least before we see him. I think he'll probably try to get a reserves game in him first and foremost, and then he'll be available for first team. So just to reiterate that could be a right show.
Brilliant.
I definitely need to change one of my subs because I've got Levi Edwards and he's now gone to York, so he definitely won't be getting any points in the Super League this year. I've got Oliver Pratt in there, who's a very highly thought of youngster at Wakey. And at 50k, I thought, a couple of injuries to Wakey, he could be featuring. So he could be some really good value if you're looking for a budget bencher. I don't think he'll mind me saying, but I won't name him, but one of the Bradford players who's done this quite a lot, he said, if you look historically, the teams that always come top are teams that have a very cheap bench. That was his one tip. He said they're often just stacking the bench and getting all the money on the pitch, but that'll come down to manage it and making transfers so you don't play with. The last thing you want to do is not have 13 men getting points, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so
that shows my inexperience. And like I said, I've gone players who if someone's injured, if two people are injured, and I've used my transfers, then a random news article. There's been a thing, he's not playing, he's been dropped, he's done something off the pitch.
Yeah.
I'm happy I can put any of mine in to play a role.
Yeah, and I think, and it has changed. He also said in the same breath that there's nowhere near as many 50 grand players this year as was last year, so it sounds like perhaps there's a thing. Brad Dwyer is someone who I've considered because I think, he could be, he could be do anything for LFC, but again, he's not an 80-minute hooker, so perhaps he might be someone I have to think about more as I learn more, hopefully with some viewer feedback.
Some tips.
And you might not be able to afford to not have an 80-minute hooker in the team. I've got our very own Cameron Smith at loose forward. I think he'll be an even bigger part of a Leeds team this year, offloads everywhere, getting a few tries himself, loads of tackles. And Armand Dodsey in my house with Lola here. I
think Dodsey's probably the money baller that I was trying to keep secret. 130k after what we saw against St George. 130k. He's going to be not the leader of the team, but he's going to be the game manager. He's going to be running plays. He's going to be the focal point. And Johnny does what he does off the back of Dodsey's organisation and kicking game. Johnny's going to star, but Dodsey's going to be doing a lot. And I'm going stats, and I think Dodsey's going to have a lot. Dodsey's going to have a lot of stats going into the season.
And I think he's good for 15 plus tries as well. So he's gonna, he could be. Let's hope with everything he keeps fit because he could be great. Who have you got second rowers? I've got Matt Whitley at Catalan, and I've got my again because of a soft spot, Kai O'Donnell from Leeds Centurions. Whitley is a big minutes man. Kai not so much, but I just love that Kai O'Donnell every time I see him play. So I've got him in there as maybe a bit of value.
I've got Alex Mello at 125k.
Nice.
I think unbelievable value for money. Played awesome in pre-season. Then obviously I said Sione Metauti, one of my money ballers. Right, I think I've got two at 125, 120k, two mega pointers in my second row.
No, well, Mellor's actually someone who I took out, and I actually think I'm going to put him back in after the reports from his pre-season game. But
yeah. Wingers,
I mentioned Tom Johnson, and I've paired him up with Liam Marshall. Try scoring machine, meet machine. I expect Wigan to have a very good year. He's in there. What about you?
I've gone Ash Hanley because he's a full-back now. And I like my fullback. I think
he'll be on.
I think he's going to score many tries, and then even if he goes winger, I'm still happy because I think he'll have a fantastic season either way, and he'll score a bunch of tries. And if he does play at fullback, his meters per game will be a monstrosity like you've never seen. I think 180 plus every game.
I think he topped it last season anyway.
Yeah, so I think he's going to just blow it out the roof in meters at fullback. Winger, he'll get the tries with it, and then my other winger is Lewis Murphy at 140k. I thought I'd get a nice one there, who I think if Wakey do well, it'll be Lewis will be the one getting a lot of the tries, obviously, as we saw last year. And I think 140k, I'm thinking.
Right, so I've got Marshall at the same price as Lewis Murphy there.
Oof. Yeah, that's a good debate to have. Liam Marshall or Lewis Murphy in the fantasy. We probably, obviously, if we're going better team, you've got to go Marshall.
And again, hopefully, we might be just talking a lot of rubbish here, but feel free to give us some guidance. I'm assuming it's important to be playing in a winning team, but at the same time,
I'm just going off David Fafita being the winner 2 years in a row.
Offloads, tries,
depends.
But also it sounds like you get a lot of points for tackles. So if you want to make a lot of tackles, you might be better off in a weaker team. And then what have we got left? Centres, I've
got Corey Hall at 130k again. I've gone a Wakefield edge. I think just brilliant value, 130k for Corey, week in, week out. Again, if they do well, be on the edge of Murphy and Corey playing well. Corey he's posted his pre-season photos, his shoulders are out, he looks good. Come on, Corey. And then one of my favourite players at Lee, from what I've seen in pre-season, Ricky Latelli, 140k, bargain.
Yeah, well, he was, I think he was certainly in our Super League Dream Team last year. I think Lee's best bit of business, along with Zach. It'd be hard to not put Zach up there, but Latelli is probably the only player in the Lee team who would walk into any other Super League team. He's that good, so that's a great shout. I've gone show me bias and put Toby King in there at the same price.
I was considering, TK. I was considering.
He's got to have a big year at Wigan. And then I will challenge you, as much as I love our Corey, I think Kevin Nagama at 125k going in at Huddersfield.
I just think Huddersfield, the thing I'm scared about Wigan is that I don't think there's a focal point in their attack, which means I think everywhere's going to get success, but I think the focal point is Jai and Bevan, and I think without them two, I don't know how many points there is on the field.
Okay.
And then my issue with Huddersfield is that they've got that much squad depth. I think there will be squad rotation there. I think there will be enough squad rotation to where some weeks you'll check your squad and we've rested Kevin, he's a bit older now, we've rested Kevin. I'm sat there going, no, 0 points.
Fair enough.
Kevin, you should have got me to 20 this week. And
which makes Latelli, even more.
That's what I've gone with, and I thought, from
they're
watching
going down
Lee,
that side, aren't they?
watching Lee, Latelli's going to get that much ball, even if he has a bad game. I think he's going to have a good fantasy week.
Yeah, no, I like it.
And then final one, who's your hooker?
Well, I did put Brad Dwyer in, but I think I'm probably going to change that because I think I'll be, as I learn a bit more, it might be that as much as I think he's going to kill it this year, I don't think I can afford to have anyone who's not 80 minutes.
That's what he's scared. I've gone Jez Litton and he's 150k, and I think that's what's scary. That's a high price. If I mention some of these others at 150, for Ash Hanley, he's going to play 80 minutes week in, week out at multiple positions probably this year. Ricky Latelli, 100. Not that Jez, I think Jez, as we all do at ShowMe Towers, could be is the future England hooker. But with Matt Parcell there, will he play?
Yeah, well,
will he play 80 minutes a week? He's not.
Game,
he's not going to.
Game.
And I think I've let my bias probably get ahead of my fantasy brain here.
I think I'm going to make the change, and I think Andy Ackers is going in for me because I think he is. After last year,
you've got to look at an 80-minute hooker, haven't you?
He could be the one, but yeah. Feel free to give us some more tips. Although, to be fair, if you're playing for a signed shirt, you might not want us to do very well. And keep the knowledge for yourself. But yeah, that's our teams. Or certainly as we are now, we've got till Thursday to make changes.
Yeah, I think talking through it now, a couple of changes will be made.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jez, I love you. You're a fantastic player, 150k at hooker, with not playing 80 minutes. Oh, well, I don't want to do it yet because maybe he gets used at 13. I don't know. I don't want to give up on Jez because I think if he does get that slot, he will be mega pointer.
Yeah.
It's interesting, yeah. The one I might change is... I don't know. I'm worried about Tom Holroyd also. Brilliant price at 110k, but will he be the week one starter?
Yeah,
that's a different question.
It is exciting. But I think you're allowed to make 4 changes a month. So effectively,
a month?
You can make 1 change a week.
Oh, that makes it worse for me. So I have to change a couple then because
I think that's right. Again, someone can guide us, but that's how we're setting up. Changes to be made. Sam will put the code on and the league name. It'd be nice if we can get 10, 20 viewers in there, and like I say, some Show Me players will be in there as well. You can see how you get on against some of the lads. Signed shirt up for grabs. We might even, if we get a bit of speed and we get some people playing, we might even be able to have something for each month or whatever, can't we? And have a look at that.
I'm going to tweet out today, actually. Not that the view. I don't think this video is going out today, but I'm going to tweet out today the link and give people a chance. So I think if this video goes out later in the week, might have a day. Right. So I'm going to tweet it out today. You'll probably see the tweet if in retrospect now. So if you're watching the video and going, oh God, I missed the tweet, go look at my Twitter. SMTM UK Joe, give me a follow, and then also follow, get on the league and get your team in, and hopefully we can have loads in and have a fun competition throughout the year, and hopefully I win. See you later.
All right, all the best.